We're here with Gary Johnson. Good to see you again. And first of all, how's the bike riding? You doing all right? Do you?
Yeah, no, I can't complain. Just out on the stump. I've been to 31 states now. I've addressed hundreds of groups, and I'm in print, radio, or television every single day, or multiple times a day.
I think I saw it in Slate where they compared you to Ron Paul. Do you find that flattering?
Yeah, no, I do. I do.
Why?
Well, I supported Ron Paul during his presidential bid, and I think he generated a lot of excitement. I think he generated a lot of awareness, and I think of worse things. And that we're philosophically aligned, I think, on most of the issues.
After being in 31 states and going across and talking to so many media people, how do you sense the pulse out there?
Well, I think people are absolutely outraged over the fact that we're bankrupt, and I'm trying to provide a roadmap for how that might get remedied. And that's Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, that's defense, that's interest on the debt. And that if interest rates just return to historic norms, that the interest on the debt will be about as much money as we're currently spending on defense. And what's to say they're going to return to historic norms? What's to say they're not going to go just a little bit more than that, or even considerably more than that? Well, then you're at $1 trillion plus just for interest on the debt alone.
So there's been some. I mean, there's the tenor of the election ads have been all over the place, and they've been pretty nasty. But one sliver of that is a number of Democrats criticizing Republicans like Tom Mullins, who have had, one could argue, the courage to at least talk about Social Security reform. What's been your reaction? Because they've basically said they've run ads saying the Republicans are out to steal people's Social Security.
Well, Social Security has to be reformed, and I think at a minimum the retirement age needs to be raised. Talking about privatizing Social Security or being allowed to self-direct your Social Security account, I think that needs to be part of the mix. I would love to have had that when I was a 17-year-old paying into the Social Security system. By the way, today I would still opt for 100% for me to be able to self-direct 100% of my Social Security funds. There also needs to be some means testing going forward on what gets paid in, what gets paid out. If we don't reform all these areas, I think we're going to be left with nothing. We have a chance here to take a little bit of medicine and perhaps live on, and I'm talking about the United States of America. But if we don't address these problems, we might all be left with nothing, and that nothing will be a dollar that doesn't buy anything tomorrow.
So do you think that the political climate is such where someone can talk about that third rail?
Well,
seriously?
This is what I'm out doing, and I've kind of been looking for my ticket back to Taos, meaning tell me what I'm saying is irrelevant, and I'll go back to skiing in Taos, but I haven't found that ticket back yet.
So you think that people are willing to listen to this more?
Well,
more open to it.
Regardless of whether they're willing to or not, it needs to be said. Now, the fact that I'm out there saying it, and the fact that I haven't been egged or tomatoed, again, I'm viewing this as positive. I'm viewing this as positive from the standpoint that we might actually address these issues.
Is it safe to say that maybe, from talking to you a number of times, that you're maybe in the short term pessimistic because the numbers aren't good fiscally, but long-term optimistic?
Well, I think that we could be facing an imminent financial collapse in this country, and it will be completely unpredictable, but here's how it will happen. Portugal will come to market with government debt tomorrow, and nobody wants to buy it. Well, yield goes up, and still nobody wants to buy it because government debt has been thrown into question. And in this country, that's $100 trillion in unfunded entitlement liability. That's the precipitous for this occurring worldwide.
Any what about the optimistic side?
Well, the optimistic side is, and it's the only thing that we can do, is actually address these issues. and by address these issues that we would actually slash government spending. Currently we're borrowing 43 cents out of every dollar that we're spending, so we need to cut federal government by 43% if we're just going to balance revenues with expenditures. Political promises have been made over the last several decades that should have never been made. We watched them being made. They were Ponzi schemes. But here they are, and there's no kicking the can down the road anymore. These issues have to be addressed, and they have to be addressed now. That's what I would argue. And when it comes to taxes, look, lowering taxes results in good economy, and that also needs to be part of the mix. Making the United States the place to do business, which I would argue right now is way down the list from where we've been historically.
Locally, I remember talking to you earlier this summer, and you said you definitely were not going to vote for Diane Denish, but you had withheld any kind of recommendation or endorsement of Susana Martinez. Have you voted, and where do you stand?
I have voted, and I voted for Suzanne Martinez. I just think that that the current administration that the blame for all of our fiscal woes lays at the feet of the current administration, and to me, Diane Denish is just a continuation of that.
What about some of the other races? You're in Taos, so you're in District 3. You voted for Tom Mullins?
Tom Mullins, yes.
Why?
I just see I see Ben Ray Lujan having voted for the stimulus. I don't think that the stimulus has resulted in anything but just propping up an otherwise unproppable economy, if you will. That if the stimulus would have never happened, if the bailouts would have never happened, that nothing would have failed in this country, that the downturn might have been steeper, but the trend line or the recovery would be sustainable, as opposed to what currently is a reinflation of real estate bubble and equities.
I know that you've been around 31 different states, but I'm sure you've spent a good deal of time back home. How would you describe the tenor of the political ads and the political season here in New Mexico?
Pathetic that candidates would squander their campaign money by denouncing their opponents, as opposed to telling us what it is they're all about and what it is they plan to do for New Mexico.
And you think the level of distortion has been out in the stratosphere too?
I think it's been out in the stratosphere. Didn't I see an ad last night about Martin Heinrich funding feeding sharks off the coast of Southern California, that they might then be released to actually eat children off the southern coast of California? Did I not see that ad the other night? Because if I didn't, it was something close to it.
It's a small step.